couldn't be two more incredible duels for the past year. They've been doing phenomenal at our events, but it looks like they're ready. It's going to be game number 1 of our first semifinal match here at the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2024.
Clock's running. We are ready to go.
I feel like Ruben won the dice roll here. He's looking at his hand. Yep, it sounds like he's going in the main phase.
All right, starting things off with opening of the Spirits Gates. That's a strong start for the Fiendsmith Yubel strategy.
Ooh, it's going to resolve as well.
I mean, when you think about the interruptions that can happen to opening the Spirit Gates, you'd rather, like, if you have something along the lines of Ash Blossom, you don't want to use it on opening the Spirit Gates because if its secondary effect is honestly the most powerful one. And if you do have something along the lines of Ghost Ogre, you can't activate it on activation. So realistically, sometimes you want to save your interruptions if you do have something for opening the Spirit Gate. So I don't think it necessarily counts out any interruptions from Jose here.
We've seen a lot of Yubel players opening with both opening the Spirit Gates and Nightmare Throne. But I guess between the two, Throne would be the bigger hit.
Definitely would. So Dark Beckoning Beast is going to add another copy of Beckoning Beast to the hand, it looks like.
And he's going to use his additional normal summon on the Samsarity Lotus. This is pretty ideal. Going to be able to activate its effect here. Does Jose have a response? It doesn't seem like it.
This is pretty much the opposite of the way the match went the first time. Maybe Jose learned something from that first match. He had plenty of interaction from his hand that he was using left and right, but Ruben was still able to establish that board in round 2 yesterday. But now maybe he's going to be looking to save it and have more of like a key point to use those interruptions from the hand at some point in this turn.
He's going to have to find some really opportune moments because very soon there's going to be a Phantom Yubel on the field as soon as these Yubels hit the graveyard.
Yep, Spirit of Yubel, special summon from the deck, and then that's going to set Nightmare Pain. Now Ruben is going to flip up that Nightmare Pain. If this card resolves, it will be a nightmare for Jose, and it looks like it's going to. He's going to destroy Spirit of Yubel to add Gruesome Grave Squirmer. Now Spirit of Yubel, since it was destroyed, will let him special summon a Yubel from the deck.
See which one we're grabbing. Looks like it's regular old Yubel.
I'm still expecting maybe Ruben to open his eyes. I'm looking at his pupils. Maybe they're different color pupils there. Maybe Yubel is the way he is going to make it to the finals of the World Championship. But as you mentioned, Phantom Yubel coming down very early here.
Going to be able to put back the Spirit of Yubel as well as the other Samsarity Lotus in the graveyard. Now going to be able to link away with the Beckoning Beast as well as the Yubel on the field for Unchained Soul Lord Yama. Yama's going to be able to activate its effect. Going to add a copy of Unchained Soul Lord Sharvara.
Yep, Unchained Soul Shavara to the hand. We've seen this before. It doesn't look like Jose has any interactions quite just yet.
Well, while he's looking for them, I've got an update for you on the other semifinal. Mark is up 1 game.
Already? Okay.
Wow, so 1 game away from making the finals there for Mark. He came in first after Swiss, going undefeated only with that 1 draw.
Still undefeated thus far.
But his opponents that he's going to have to face, if he does win, are right here. Yuto could still come back. I hope he does with that Fire King strategy. But Ruben moving on with his turn. Special summoning Gruesome Grave Squirmer from the hand. Going to be able to link away Yubel in that Gruesome Grave Squirmer. Spirit of Yubel.
I believe he did use the effect of opening the Spirit Gates, discarding the Spirit of Yubel to summon back the Spirit of Yubel. Is that how it hit the field?
I do believe so. And now is going to go into Moon of the Closed Heaven. Going to link summon that away for Fiendsmith's Requiem.
Requiem going to then be able to activate its effect. Attempt to summon a Fiendsmith Engraver from the deck. Engraver hits the field here. Ruben sequencing in a way where he gets a lot of powerful effects off first, you know, just really building his hand with ways to play through multiple interruptions if Jose happens to have them. And I think from Jose, the way his deck is built, it's very likely that he does have these interruptions in his hand. It would be very unlucky if he didn't. So I think Ruben is expecting a pair because he, at this point, absolutely knows most of the cards in Jose's deck.
Nasal, I know you like pairs. And we'll have to see if he does have a pair of those cards that are going to need to be able to push through the board that Ruben is establishing right now.
So now Jose is checking the graveyard here. I noted he hadn't looked at it at all previously in this turn, so that might give us a clue as to what's hiding in his hand.
It seems like he's getting ready to do something. But sequence is allowed to resolve here. It's going to be able to summon that Fiendsmith Lacrima. Lacrima is going to be able to activate its effect, likely adding the Engraver back to hand here. Yep.
Yeah, we see this a lot where you get the Engraver out of the deck and then you can add it back to the hand with Lacrima, so you can discard it from the hand to access Fiendsmith's tracked.
Engraver uses its effect, doing likely just that.
There it is.
Activating it immediately.
Just going to let him add a Light Fiend from the deck to the hand, then he'll have to discard a card.
There's the Lurie.
I'm still waiting for the Majesty's Fiend. One day it's going to be Majesty's Fiend.
I prefer it be Lurie most of the time. Not like for my sake, but my opponent's sake, everyone else's sake.
All right, moving on to a Link Summon. Going to send Sequence and Lurie to the graveyard. Muckraker from the Underworld is now in that extra monster zone.
That's going to go through as well.
Looks like we're putting back the Lurie into the deck for the effective Engravers, hitting the field once again.
Jose checking the graveyard, maybe looking to see how accessible it is for another copy of Phantom of Yubel to touch down, or making sure the Gruesome Gravescrimmer's there, what he could do with that in the graveyard as well.
Looks like Ruben is choosing to overlay his 2 level 6 monsters into the High Wave King Caesar.
I think he does. Ruben is, with you, Asal, looking for those pair of cards, so trying to have a pair of cards of his own to counter the pair of cards that Jose might have to disrupt his turn.
Makes
You're
a lot of
thinking
sense.
about, trap cards rather than monster effects because the Phantom of Yubel's down there. Now even that's not going to help you out.
Exactly. All right, Gruesome Gravesquirmer is banished to special summon back Spirit of Yubel from the graveyard. Oh, and it looks like we're going to do a quick look here. Oh, we can see the other match. And it's a little tough to see what's going on, but there's a Phantasme on the field.
Yeah, it looks like there's a Phantasme. I think I see Fiendsmith Sequence there. And it looks like they may all be headed back to the extra deck as part of a fusion summon. If I were to interpret that that particular pile of cards together.
He was calculating something, so maybe a Nibiru resolved, and he was trying to add up the stats.
We did see Mark adding up the stats in Nibiru yesterday, but we do see a Link Summon coming down here from Ruben for an Unchained Soul of Rage. Gonna set Abominable. Chamber of the Unchained.
Everything par for the course so far for the Yubel strategy. Ruben being uninterrupted thus far. It looks like he's going to be done with his deck at the very minimum here, offering the cut to Jose.
It's not a bad board he has.
Still 3 cards in hand as well.
Yeah, that's what the interactions from the hand on top of the established field you make is the tough part for Jose. He's going to have to try and fight back. But if he's not having any of those interactions from the hands, that means he probably has cards he can play. So we'll see. It's now Jose's turn. Draws 6 cards.
You saw him shake that card on the draw a little bit. Things might not be looking up.
He needs that card to do quite a lot for him here.
All right, we are in the main phase. What is Jose's first action going to be? It's looking like a Divine Temple of the Snake Eyes.
Good way to get started here.
It's going to let him place a Snake Eye monster from his deck into the spell and trap zone.
Not necessarily the most ideal card to have in your hand when you could normally search it via other means, but it is useful at playing into boards because if they decide to try to summon any more monsters to try to deal with yours, you do get another free summon, so you're able to extend a little bit further.
Yep, it does help with that. Also gets you face-up cards on your side of the field that you can send to the graveyard for other cards that you might want to summon from your hand, like Diabellstar the Black Witch and cards like that. But it looks like grabbing the Snake Eye Ash, so we might be looking to move it forward. But yeah, but here comes the Black Witch, sending Snake Eye Ash to the graveyard. And now he's going to activate the effect. Let's see if this prompts a response here from Ruben.
He has plenty of options to consider. He has that Wave King High Caesar. He has multiple sets here, one being the Chamber. Not going to be useful immediately, not opting to not use any of them. The Diabellstar will be able to resolve, again, missing in the front half of the deck, so we're going to the bottom half.
Missed on the Ash as well. That was nearly at the bottom.
All right, original Sinful Spoils is set. Ruben letting Jose proceed so far, but now it looks like he is going to activate Unchained Soul of Rage effect, targeting Jose's Diabellstar, the Black Witch.
Looks like that's going to be allowed to resolve, linking away with the Diabellstar into SP Little Knight.
Looking to banish that set original Sinful Spoils. Maybe Jose has something like Wanted, Secret of the Sinful Spoils in his hand to punish this play, but he's going to need that one Wanted. Being limited, it's going to be tough.
Let's see if Jose has anything to punish now that a monster effect has been activated on Ruben's side during the main phase.
Looks like he does, in fact, have triple tactics talent.
And which effect is going to be activated here? Stealing is a little tempting.
I mean, Jose might have to steal that Wave King High Caesar at this point, but there's still that SP Little Knight already on the field. He's in dire straits here. You might just need more cards to try to deal with this.
Nope, looks like he is going to take the Caesar.
Can I get a Zeus for the one time?
Probably not.
You got to take a lot of damage in the process, too, because we do have a Yubel monster and Nightmare Pain on the field.
If I had to take the damage just to put a Zeus in the max deck, I would do it.
I think I agree, actually.
All right, Jose's going to normal summon Snake Eye Oak, and that's going to target Snake Eye Ash that he got to put in the graveyard thanks to that Divine Temple and Black Witch.
That's effect's going to be met with the SP Little Knight, attempting to banish the Snake Eye Oak here.
No response, it looks like, but there is another chain.
Infinite Impermanence.
Infinite Impermanence is going to try and negate the effect of Snake Eye Oak, and then he's going to get it off the field of the SP Little Knight, leaving Jose with just the Caesar.
Interesting, opting to do this way, even though the Infinite Impermanence would have met all of Oak's effects by itself, but he wants to make sure there's not that extra body on the board, so he gets the Caesar back.
Yeah,
the Bellstar.
Unless he has another way to special summon something, I think that Caesar's coming back.
Yeah, it would have to be something along the lines of 1-for-1 or Bonfire, right? Because you've already used the Divine Temple, the normal summon's gone, the Bellstar's gone, but there's another copy of Original?
Plays a second copy of Original Sinful Spoils.
I wouldn't see that coming.
Incredible.
Yeah. I would not see that coming either. I'm not sure we saw that in any of the decks this week.
So he got to bait out the SP Little Knight with the first one, but had it all along.
But the thing, Oak is gone, the one copy of Snake Eye Ash is gone.
Poplar is still available, so just getting another monster on the field is step one. Because he really is only dealing with the one face down and the Phantom of Yubel.
I imagine that's probably the only thing that he has available is Poplar.
Yep, we are getting that Poplar. Poplar likely has no more targets. We've seen 3 separate targets hit the grave at this point.
Taking a chance. There is a Shavara, which is a fire.
At the very minimum, he does have access to Moon of the Closed Heaven to start his Fiendsmith line.
You have to be careful of the Phantom, though. Phantom's still out here.
Now he is going to concede, it looks like, and Ruben is going to take game number 1 here. And now Ruben is 1 win away from being our first finalist, but, you know, it is just incredible. Both these duels have been breakout careers over the past couple of years and have been incredible. Either one deserves to be here, but, you know, it's going to be I don't know who's going to win.
Anyone could take this game, right? And I think that game really shows what you could do with either deck, because even if Ruben did know that Jose had access to a second copy, because at this point I think they've talked to each other enough, he probably did have that knowledge, but you wouldn't expect it still. You knew that a normal summon had been used, he knew Bellstar had been used, and then even the Divine Temple, which could give him access to the Snake Eye Bellstar, had been used. So the amount of additional extenders was really small. So he took the chance here and wanted to just prioritize getting all of his resources back. But even if there was an additional extender here, I think the worst case scenario was something along the lines of 1-for-1. But even then, the Oak had been used, the Ash had been used. So he knew that even if something did happen to hit the field at that point, it would just go into the Fiendsmith part of things. It's not threatening that much. And as Jose saw, he was able to get that far, but there was nothing to do after the fact, and he was able to just concede.
Yeah, I think Jerome pointed out the big sticking factor that kept Jose from being able to come back into it was the last remaining piece of interaction. It was that Phantom of Yubel. Well, not being able to be destroyed by battle, and his only play was to go into a moon or something like that, and being able to have the one way to change that monster effect would have been enough there for sure.
It hurts, especially if you're going to clear your own field off, triggering off Requiem and be left with nothing.
Exactly. So Riding on the Wall doesn't want to waste any more time in that game, but it looks like we're getting a quick look in here at the other duel. Okay, we're mid the game here. It looks like Yuto is doing some Fire King stuff. It looks like he played through a Nibiru, a Multarmi, a Phantasme. He has Island on the field, Ponix, and SP Little Knight.
I imagine it is actually the same turn, because it does, like, based on what I can tell, the Nibiru attributed his Phantasme as well as all those 3 monsters from Yuto's side. And that's what that math was for.
So are we still in turn 1 here?
I believe we're still in turn 1.
No, it looks like the start of turn
though.
3 because he's activating Island, but maybe not.
I just don't see enough cards on Mark's side for
True.
the damage launch.
Unless he just passed back or something like that.
I mean, it looks like Mark had many interruptions into Yuto's play here, so he had to, you know, recalculate how he wanted to play out the turn multiple times. There was an infinite impermanence of Phantasmate as well as a Nibiru. But now we're finally activating Grunix.
The Grunix coming from the graveyard really makes me think this is turn
Okay,
3.
so I guess Mark didn't do anything on his last turn. It's fair, it's fair.
The Grunix is going to special summon from the graveyard. That destroys a Kieran from the deck to special summon Arvata from the hand. Arvata's be able to protect himself from monster effects. Or there's a chance that... No.
I do think I see 2 cards over in Mark's hand.
So Engraver coming back from the graveyard. Yuto looks like he's doing some math in his head.
Definitely some kind of math happening.
But we're going to have to wait and find out as our players on the feature match stage are shuffling up, shuffling each other's decks. They have side decked and they are almost ready here for game number 2.
Jose does get to take the lead here, going first with his Snake Eye strategy. We've seen how powerful it has been all throughout the tournament, even with the restriction copies of Bonfire and Ash.
Getting a few last-minute instructions here from our judges on when to begin. I imagine that they've played so many times at this point that this is one of those situations where you might outthink yourself, thinking, well, I know that he knows that I know that he knows what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to do this other thing instead.
I think both these players, up going into game 2, they have been at this stage so many times up to this point that...
Oh, and we already see Balcharvi Perulia being dropped immediately. Now, we saw some really interesting lines of play yesterday that went completely around it or only gave 1 draw off it. So let's see if Jose has one of those up his sleeve.
And yeah, one of the ways to get around it is Fiendsmith's track, but that's met by Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring here from Ruben.
Ruben is trying to deny any value from Jose here, forcing Jose to commit from the hand, giving Ruben back those cards that he spent.
Let's see if Jose's going to have to move to a normal summon here and give Ruben a card thanks to that Perulia.
There's going to be a Bonfire. Bonfire likely grabbing a copy of Poplar here from the deck. Yep, there it is. Poplar going to be able to activate in the hand because it was added from the deck. Giving 1 draw to Ruben, but also adding a card from his deck to his hand.
Yeah, avoiding just the normal summon of Snake Eye Ash, but does he have another interaction?
It looks like he does. Infinite Impermanence on the Poplar. Ruben trying to make sure Jose can't get anything going.
Still 3 cards left in hand here. Now, the line we saw yesterday, I think the only summon from hand was the 1 Poplar, but in that case it resolved.
So going to have to work a little harder now. Using the Poplar's effect in the graveyard to put itself back in the spell and trap zone, and we're going to use the original again on the Poplar.
That's huge. Doesn't give any draws to Ruben.
The Infinite Permanence being baited out very easily, already having original in the hand, going to be able to go for Snake Eyes Oak. Snake Eyes Oak targeting the Poplar. Poplar hits the field once again.
And this is the way we saw it yesterday. In that case, it did go and grab the original Sinful Spoils and set everything off. So by just drawing it in the first place, he can shoot through that Infinite Impermanence and still keep going.
That is a good note. Makes that Imperm not as critical.
I'm kind of getting sold on 2 original Sinful Spoils.
I mean, yeah, if you just happen to draw it, I mean, at that point, just play 3.
Why not?
I do think Ruben it was not a wasteful Infinite Permanence. If you already had a copy of original, that means you could have had Divine Temple and original in your hand, and that would have gotten a lot worse for Ruben. But now we are going to the Engraver after the Requiem. Requiem is going to use its effect, equipping to the Engraver.
Yep, Requiem here is not going to go into Necroquip Princess, but going to be sent to the graveyard with Snake Eye Oak. Now, does he go for Ash or Flamebirds right away? It looks like he's going to Snake Eyes, Flamebirds Dragon. Love those quarter-century secret rares.
Certainly, he's got a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot. His deck is very pretty.
I saw a few of them were available at the OTS booth that we had for the World's Competitors to get cards from yesterday. A lot of great looking cards in that.
If there's any opportunity to flex, you know, this is the one, right? If
That's right.
You might as well.
Maybe a better one next round if they make it.
Was I really considering his options here? Already used the Requiem to equip. Debating if he wants to immediately link away here or use potentially the Tract to fuse. Looks like we're going to opt to activate the Tract in the graveyard, banishing itself so that he can fuse with his field and his hand, using 2 engravers, 1 copy from the hand, 1 copy on the field, to fusion summon Fiendsmith Lacrima.
Yep, Fiendsmith Lacrima is going to let him special summon back one of those engravers. He already drew the Tract, so odds are he won't be adding it back to his hand. Normally opening up Fiendsmith's Tract and the original Sinful Spoil is not where you want to be, but Jose finding a way to utilize these cards still.
Ruben potentially out of interruptions from his hand at this point. Jose just has to find the appropriate amount of interruptions to make on his field to counter, I want to say only, at this point, 2, 3 cards from Ruben's hand?
Looks like he's got 3.
Yeah, drawing 1 card from the Prulia so far.
So he'll draw up to 4.
The next move is Link Summon here for Fiendsmith Sequence.
Leaving the Flame Bridge on the field, keeping himself protected in case Nibiru, the Primal Being, does come down.
Now, since Lacrima has already been used, he's probably going to be... Well, first he's going to use that Fiendsmith Lacrima effect to make sure to get that 1,200 points of damage in, and now be looking to summon Fiendsmith Desiree.
Does he have enough Fiends in the graveyard still? There are 2 copies of Engraver and the Lacrima, I believe?
Yep.
There it is. He's also got the Requiem.
Oh, he gets to keep an Engraver in the grave as well. That is perfect.
So now is the question, how much does he fear and respect Nibiru? Does he equip the Desiree from the field? He has to continue his plays, I'd imagine. This is not a strong enough board quite just yet.
Yeah, especially against Yubel. Yubel is very powerful and able to power through a lot of these weaker Snake Eye boards, so you have to commit a little bit more. And now we're going to see the Flame Bridge activate in the graveyard, summoning back the 2 level 1 monsters. The sequence is going to equip itself to the Desiree. Promethean Princess is going to use its effect, summon back the Flame Bridge Dragon. The Desiree is going to negate his own Princess, so now he is no longer locked into fires. We're going to be linking away into the link to IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena and the Princess are going to be linked away now for likely Appaloosa Boa the Goddess. There she is. And now Flame Bridge can finally get that IP Masquerena back into the spell and trap zone.
Yep, Ruben had a small window, Ruben had a small window there to use Nibiru the Primal Being if he did have it, but it doesn't look like it is one of the cards in his hand.
And there is also a set from Jose here, giving only 1 draw to Ruben and facing down Ash Blossom and Infinite Impermanence. Quite a formidable board.
Yeah, Jose played that excellent.
See how long it takes for that set card to be flipped face up. 1 different dimension ground later, and we could be headed to a game 3.
That's true. We did see that card a lot yesterday. All right, Ruben draws.
The card is staying face down.
It sounds like Ruben's going to hit the concede button. Yeah, he's picking up his cards. We're going to go right on to game 3. This is way too much to deal with after already spending 3 cards from your hand.
When you start off with the Prulia, you're expecting that you're going to get some kind of return on that investment throughout the turn. But Jose's line of play there was really excellent and was able to give him just 1 single draw on the way to setting up a huge field.
That's right. Now Jose has evened things out to push things to a game number 3. But yeah, going back to Mulcharming Purlia, we've seen that a lot this weekend. Probably in almost every feature match between these mirror matches. But we've also seen all the players already coming prepared for that card and having a lot of plays designed around to give them as minimal cards as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's one of those things when these kind of cards come out where they can be really punishing when you don't know what to do. But a lot of these players, especially at the World Championship stage, they have practiced into it. They know how to adjust their plays to get the maximum value from their turn while giving the minimum value to your opponent. And it's very clear that Jose has done just that.
You see how serious Ruben is there. They are both very focused on their game, but it looks like we can look in at our other game that's going on right now. It looks like it might still be that same game because I see, yeah, the Black Goat last, the Sanctuary on the field there. It is the same game.
The graveyard is huge now, though, over on Mark's side. He's going into the battle phase, and Snake Eyes Flambearer's Dragon is attacking.
Yeah, Flamberge uses its effect, putting the Engraver in the spell and trap zone. Might be usually when you see that happen, it's a bit of a commitment into trying to potentially go for game, or you're just trying to limit resources because at this point, if Engraver is off from the graveyard, you can't really access it again without Yuto's own Snake Eye cards.
Oh, this is interesting. The Sanctuary is still on the field, but Fire King Island is not.
Yeah, it might have got banished by something like
SP Little Knight.
Little Knight.
Yeah. But, you know, with just a Flamebirds Dragon on Mark's side of the field, that's not the most formidable board here. And Fire King's really good at having that follow-up plays as long as there's ways to access that Grunix. I mean, even just normal summon a Fire Monster, go to battle, attack into a Flamebirds Dragon could be something that could help Yuto out here.
I mean, I expect if there's a Flamebridge on the field and the graveyard that thick, there's probably a Princess in there somewhere.
We're still on Mark's turn. Not anymore. He just passed. Yuto considered something in the end phase, and now we are headed...
Whoa!
Hang on.
Pressure Planet Race-Off. Just,
now,
you know...
Fender not allowed.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be Kashtira Unicorn if I had to guess.
Yeah, the Kashtira Unicorn goes to Yuto's hand here. I wonder what he's trying to do with that.
That's unexpected in Fire Kings, but I love to see it.
I think Mark's just as confused as we are.
So the Unicorn, when you use the effect, can add a spell to your hand, cast your spell. Its other effect takes a look at your extra deck and causes mayhem.
Mayhem is a good way to describe that. It looks like Mark is worried about that mayhem. He might be considering something like Promethean Princess, as you mentioned, that could be in that graveyard. As he goes to pick it up, we might be able to get a peek. Nope, not quite. But that game is...
We'll never know.
We will eventually. We'll find out who that winner is shortly, but our players on our main feature match stage are shuffled up. They're side decked and ready. The handshake, the final handshake for one of them, they know that their friend will either be moving on or they will be in the finals. Either way, it's going to be an epic final game 3 of our semifinal match between two of these players from the United States.
At this point, I think they've made peace with one of them having to move on. They can't be disappointed with the result. They just have to root for each other and do the best that they can to be the one that gets to move on.
Incredibly high tension, even out here among the people that have gathered from the other World Championship players and all the different content creators that have been here this weekend. Everybody's sitting in front of this match, watching it intently. The tension is massive.
It's game 3 of our semifinal match. It's time to duel. This will be the last game for one of these players. The other one will be stamping their ticket to the finals of the World Championship.
Ruben takes a look at his hand here for the first time, considering his options, moving into the main phase. There's going to be activating Piri Ray map.
Oh,
this lets him add a monster with 0 stats, and it's going to cost him half his life points.
And Jose has to take a look at it. It's the first time we've seen it during this tournament as well.
Yeah, Piri Rice map, one of my favorite cards. Get it? It is really cool. I love this card. It's able to search something like Dark Beckoning Beast, so it's almost an additional copy of Opening the Spirit Gates without, that bonus second effect.
Ruben making a lot of deck building choices where he has a lot of powerful cards going first, but just focusing on the ability to play through and having as many live cards as possible. Piri Ray map being one of them. Gonna grab that Opening the Spirit Gates you mentioned earlier. Spirit Gates being activated. Is there a response from Jose? Doesn't seem like it. Gonna be able to add another copy likely of the Dark Beckoning Beast or Chaos Summoning Beast.
Now this is what went wrong in the first game, is that Jose had nothing to do during Ruben's turn.
We're gonna have to see if that's the case again.
I'm going to use the additional normal summon on the Chaos Summoning Beast. That likely means there isn't a Sincerity Lotus in Ruben's hand. So Jose at least has that Breath of Relief. It could have been worse.
All right, 2 monsters on the field, 2 monsters sent to the graveyard. Link summon for Unchained Soul, Lord of Yama.
Oh, and now Jose's going to take a peek at his hand. What has he got? It's Phantasmal Dragon Phantasme.
Well, if he didn't have any responses yet, he could find some more right here.
Dig 2 more and put something he doesn't need back into the deck.
It really is fantastic to see Fantastical Dragon Phantasma here in the semifinals of the World Championship. It's such a cool card.
Looks like this one's going to be a really tough choice, though.
Yeah, when he's considering this one, that means he doesn't have a bad card that he immediately wants to throw back. He has to consider what tools he needs for the following turn, as well as what he needs to stop Ruben's turn right now.
All right. Well, that one's going to go back in. And Shavara is going to be added to Ruben's hand.
This is tense. It's epic. There's so much on the line here. The glory, the title of becoming the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Champion. It's so hard to get to the World Championship, and when you're here in top 4, you want to make sure you do everything you can to give yourself the best chance to make the finals.
Well, this was real rough for Jose here because Ruben did in fact have the Spirit of Yubel in his hand. He's activating the effect of opening the Spirit Gates, discarding the Spirit of Yubel, attempting to summon it back. We did not see access to the Yubel engine just yet until this moment.
He has 4 cards in his hand. Jose asking for a hand count. Maybe he's considering a response, something like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and he does have it. So that's cutting off the access to Nightmare Pain, which is huge. But
even considering having a response, he has Crossout Designator.
Crossout Designator.
The one of here at the World Championship.
Oh, no.
Not much Jose can do about that.
Does he have Bell?
How would you bell that?
Bell's,
Yeah,
Bell's
call
by
by.
the grave, yeah, the other one. Artifact Lancia? That
Mark of the Engraver?
Okay, there's a few ones that can work. So he does have Nightmare Pain, despite Jose's best efforts to stop it. It looks like Jose's demeanor kind of changed a little bit after that Crossout Designator.
Gonna allow the Nightmare Pain to resolve. Gonna destroy the Spirit of Yubel to add the Grave Squirmer from deck to hand, and now he's gonna be able to trigger that Spirit of Yubel to special summon a Yubel from the deck.
The gruesome Grave Squirmer. Would have been hilarious if we did add regular Grave Squirmer.
Grave Squirmer, yes. It's a lot of words, Billy.
I know.
I gotta save my breath.
It's a whole extra word. I understand completely.
We got another match coming.
I'm just giving you a hard time, but Yubel is now on the field.
Jose takes a very long look at that spirit.
Yeah, he knows that there could be a Phantom of Yubel coming soon, so if he has a monster effect he wants to use, he has to do it now, and it's Nibiru, the Primal Being.
Jose understanding what will happen in the near future, so having to take advantage now while he has the opportunity. Ruben considering something in response here.
He does have that Shavara in hand. He wants to destroy his Yama instead of let it be tributed.
Maybe destroying the Yubel, so the Yubel will also trigger.
Yubel.
Getting the effect of Shavara as well. Having Jose clear it for him instead of having to clear it himself. But it looks like the Nibiru will just be resolving here, giving a token to Ruben's side.
A lot of zeros on defenses, including not even having defense points in the case of the Link monster.
And here is going to be the Fuse Materials shuffled back into the deck to special summon Phantom of Yubel.
Now that Afin is back on the field, Ruben is open to use that gruesome Grave Squirmer that is in his hand.
There you go, Asal. Good job. I'm proud.
One word now is a word less that I can't use later.
Next up, it looks like Ruben is considering his options. He's already used the opening Spirit Gates, and as you said, gruesome Grave Squirmer coming down to the field.
Considering some options in his extra deck here, he wants to put that Squirmer in the graveyard as soon as he can. Linking away with the Phantom Yubel. going into Moon of the Close Heaven.
Does need effect monsters, so he's not able to use that token.
Going into the Requiem. Requiem activates his effect.
Accessing the Fiendsmith engine in the deck.
Going to be using the effect of Requiem to equip to the Engraver, and then using Engraver's effect, sending the Requiem as well as the Nibiru to the graveyard, and then immediately linking away with the token to go into Fiendsmith Sequence. Sequence activating its effect now. Looks like Jose might have a response here. Wants to look at the graveyard one more time.
Maybe someone that can take Engraver out of the graveyard?
It doesn't look like it's happening right now. The sequence is resolving. Oh, he's going straight for a Desiree.
Okay, is he going to equip the sequence from the field, or does he have another way to get it off? He's going to, use Gruesome Gravescormer, special back Spirit of Yubel. So he could now link away the sequence to put it into the graveyard, but Shavara is going to come down first, targeting Spirit of Yubel. The destruction effect is not once per turn, so he'll be able to special summon a Yubel from the deck.
This is a powerful position here. Usually when you see a Shavara activated on something like Spirit of Yubel, you get to trigger a few things here, but it looks like he didn't opt to use the effect of Yama at this point. And now you're going to be linking away with the Shavara as well as the Yubel into Unchained Soul of Rage.
Now, since Shavara was sent to the graveyard, he's going to be able to set the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained from the deck.
Now likely going to be linking away with both of his link monsters just to put them in the grave to get value from both the sequence as well as Soul of Rage.
First, he's getting another Phantom of Yubels on the field, however.
Might as well. Likely going to be an end piece in your combo. Not really worried about any monster effects immediately. Ash Blossom has been used, Nibiru has been used.
This is very similar to the game we saw, game 1 of round 2 yesterday, where Jose had a lot of interactions from his hand, but Ruben was still able to push through those interactions and make a really, really solid field.
Oh, actually not choosing to link away, just using the sequence on the field to equip to the Desiree, leaving the Unchained Soul on the field as well as the chamber set.
As Jose goes into what might be his final turn of the tournament, we do have an update from our other match. Yuto has eventually taken that very long game 2 and tied things up at 1 apiece in our other semifinal.
Fire Kings, Fire Kings. So either way, both of these semifinals push to a game 3.
Jose finally having a turn here, but still having to deal with quite the formidable board himself. Going to be leading with that tract as he has in previous turns.
That Fiendsmith tract has been stuck in Jose's hand.
Ruben is going to allow it to resolve here. Adding the Fabled Lurry from the deck to the hand. Going to be discarding that Lurry, I can only assume. Yep. Lurry activating its effect here. Ruben showing no concern thus far.
This is tense. All right, gonna link away the Fabled Lurry to link summon Fiendsmith's Requiem. Requiem's gonna show himself off, trying to summon Fiendsmith Engraver from the deck. There it is.
Requiem going to be, especially after the Requiem equips to the Engraver, Engraver's going to use its effect to try to force something out, but I believe at this point the Rage has to go down and target the Engraver before it gets any value. And that's allowed to resolve. Ruben declares he's going into the SP Little Knight, and he's going to try to banish the Engraver from the graveyard, cutting off that resource as well.
See if Jose has a response here. He does.
Another copy of Phantasme here. Does Ruben want to use the Phantom of Yubel now just to keep it in his hand?
ejects that other face-down card. That's the Chamber of the Enchained.
So he is going to use Phantom of Yubel.
Locking up Jose's hand. Really unfortunate that he had multiple Phantasmas. I wonder if he had drawn that for turn, or he just had to put back a different card off the Phantasma in the previous turn. Now the Spirit is going to be able to activate once destroyed off of the effect of Phantom Yubel. Keeping a Yubel on the field for the effect of Nightmare Pain, making it so that SP Little Knight cannot be attacked. Going to be normal summoning Snake Eye Poplar now.
He pushed through a lot of these interruptions that Ruben's had. We don't know what he has in his hand. He still has SP Little Knight on the field. We know he has the Chamber set.
He still hasn't used that Desiree either.
Oh yeah, the Desiree is still available, but SP Little Knight is going to use the effect to banish itself and Poplar. Oh,
Jose's conceding, and
over.
Ruben moves on to the finals.
Ruben is going to be our first finalist here at the World Championship 2024. You know, you see the camaraderie, the friendship. He literally said, it's up to you now. Just incredible to see. Lots of emotions. These players have been playing with each other for so long, and now Ruben is in the finals representing the United States of America.
Ruben had such a career up to this point. I want to say within the last 2 years, he's been within all the groups of the best players within North America for so long, but he had not gotten his own win yet, and then he won 2 3v3s, but again, has not won on his own, and now he's going to the finals, which he's been in before in his own YCS, but he has a chance at the world stage.
Seems a little better. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. I didn't win 3 or 4 or 6 YCSs, but I'm the world champion.
Potentially, he has that opportunity to walk away with the title. Only one player gets every single year, and you know, the job's not done. He still has another round to go. We can look here at some of the action going on at our other semifinal match. This is going to be the 3rd game. It looks like Mark is in the process of comboing off. He has a Fiendsmith sequence. He used Poplar's effect to go back on his spell and trap card zone, and now sequence, shuffle back the materials required to summon Fiendsmith's Lacrima. Lacrima is going to target that Fiendsmith Engraver.
And he's going to hold him up here.
I want to know what happened to that Veiler. How did it get there?
A Bestial, maybe?
Yeah, it feels like it got Bestialed.
But
That's
then
not all I could think of.
But
and linked away, maybe?
Did I assume he had to like a normal summoned it then, right? Because when did he have the opportunity to Veiler?
He could have discarded it with track. There's a whole number of different things that could have happened, but who knows? Could have normal summoned it, though. I think that is a good guess.
Checking on something.
Oh, he crossed it out. He crossed out that Veiler.
Oh, okay.
That's the easiest use, yeah.
That makes sense. Now that we see the spell card down there at the bottom of the graveyard, we've got crossed out Designator as well as the, looks like the Tract, Fiendsmith Engraver. And Yuno is still thinking on the effect of this sequence. This could really make or break things, whether or not Desiree makes it to the field.
Yeah, he's going to need something here. He doesn't want Mark to continue his plays much further than this. If he has some sort of interruption, some sort of interaction, it looks like he is really deep in thought here.
Or rather, if the Engraver gets to the field.
Yeah.
Apologies, already used sequence.
Yeah, it was sequenced for Lacrima. I imagine Lacrima is targeting the Engraver right now. Maybe Yuto's considering activating a Bestial, or if he's choosing to save it for later.
Now, the Bestial would change the identity of the card. So even if you targeted it, even though it can special summon, from being banished, it would be considered a different card. So Bestial would stop this.
Cards that move locations are different cards. That is correct. You're really considering this. Well, unless I'm missing something, is Mark considering it? Or maybe they're in a judge call right now.
That is also possible. They could be asking for a translation on one of the cards.
I do think that has to be the case.
Because the players were instructed at the start to not just try and get translations on their own. If they need a translation or an interpreter, they need to call a judge first, and then the judge will provide whatever service they need, whether it's access to an interpreter or to a local language version of the card.
Yeah, I hope it's that, not waiting on like the live stream to start play because I would rather them just continue going on the way it was. But yeah, probably a judge call. But man, I'm still riding just that excitement from Ruben making the finals. Either way, like the winner of this game will be facing off against Ruben. And like this whole year, we've been going to all of the YCSs. I'm sure if you've been watching from home, you probably caught a few of them throughout the year. He's been in the top cut of several of them. He is an incredible player. You mentioned he won a couple of Team YCS as well. I've been keeping my eye on Jose and Ruben as up and coming, some of the best players around right now from North America. And to see him in the finals, I have to say I'm excited, but a little expected too, because I had high expectations for a player of Ruben's caliber.
And it'll be great to hear from him what it really means to make it to the finals here. Like, his buddies wish him the best of all, put it on his shoulders, and we'll find out if he is ready for that responsibility in an interview with Kangas right now.
Thank you very much, casters. I am live on stage with Ruben after qualifying for the WCS 2024 finals. Congratulations, first of all. I want to give you a moment to reflect because this is the biggest tournament of your life. How are you feeling after your feature match? And has it set in yet that you are a Worlds finalist?
It's starting to set in. It's surreal. Me and Jose have been talking about this moment for one of us to make it to the finals for a month and a half. It was a shame that we had to play in top 4. We had a great match. Couldn't have asked anyone else to play in top 4. Still feeling, little queasy. Got one more match to go, but we're gonna get it done. USA is gonna try and go back to back.
おめでとうございます。人生の中で一番大きな大会であると思いますが、その決勝に行くというところどのような感じですかという質問に関しまして、今やっとその実感が少しずつ出てきているというところになっております。仲間であるホゼさんと一緒に、ここまで、来ることをこの1ヶ月間ほど夢見ており、ちょっとくしくと彼とトップ4で戦うことになってしまい残念ですが、ちょっと決勝の方に臨んでみたいと思いますとのことです。
Well, Ruben, I wasn't aware of this camaraderie between you and Jose, and I noticed you ran up and gave him a hug immediately after the match. What was that moment like for you then, having to face off against your friend?
So, excuse me if I cry a little bit during this interview, but it was a big moment. Me and Jose and Landon spent all week testing, getting ready for this tournament, and I honestly believe Jose's deck was the hardest matchup for mine because he built it to beat my deck in testing. And I knew the only chance I had in that matchup was winning the die roll. I got lucky round 2, won the die roll. He rolled a 5. I got lucky and rolled a 6. There's nothing much more about that.
そうですね、先ほど、ちょっと観客の方にいるホゼさん、仲間のホゼさんと一緒にちょっと抱き合ってハグしていたところで、ちょっと強い友情があると思いますが、彼との試合とはどのような感じであったでしょうかという質問に関しまして、ちょっと彼といろいろとこの大会のための準備を行っており、やはり彼のデッキもちょっと自分のデッキと戦うことを仮想の相手としてやっていたのもあり、彼とのトップ4の戦いはすごい大変なものでありました。どちらが勝ってもいいものでもあり、運よく自分の方がダイスロールの方で、先行を取れたとのことで一番大変だったと言っております。
Well, you are one of the top elite duelists in the world right now, but from what I hear, you're also elite in some other things. And since I have you on stage, I want to highlight that. Is it true that you are a circus performer?
I am.
And a nationally ranked jump rope competitor?
I am.
Okay, well, I know that you brought a prop. I'm going to let you go grab that while our translator explains for the Japanese audience.
ルーベンさんはちょっとエリートのデュエリストであると同時に、サーカスのパフォーマーであるでもあり、プロの縄跳び師でもあるとのことですので、ちょっとそちらの技を見せていただきたいと思います。
Well, Ruben, I've been waiting a long time to show this off on stream. Can you show us a jump rope trick to prove that you are able to compete internationally representing your country, not only in Yu-Gi-Oh, but also in jump rope? Yeah. All right, let's see what you got. Oh, okay. Whoa! All right. I believe you, Ruben, everybody. Thank you. so much. Congratulations on the win. We're going to send it to a short break before we're back with the rest of our Day 2 WCS 20.